Hey everybody, my name is Brett Wahlberg. You probably remember me from working at Virtuoso Musical Instruments or any of the other videos I've posted of my playing with my quartet. I've got some really exciting news going into the new year. I have started being an ambassador for Kohlert Saxophones, owned by Amati. This company has been around for a very, very long time, and in the past year or so, they've decided to hop back into the market with a true professional grade customizable saxophone. So what I'm playing right now is my VKC-100. This was customized for me. It is the 12th saxophone that they've made. They're only making them in tenor at the moment. What's incredibly fascinating about the saxophone, besides aesthetically, it's the most beautiful modern horn I've looked at. Everything is made the old way, like truly in the old world way in the Czech Republic. They're not outsourcing any of their building. They're not outsourcing any of their parts, minus key touches and pads, which are just made elsewhere. What we're looking at least with mine, is an unlacquered, no F sharp, and it's been artificially patinaed. They chemically dip it instead of use any coarse materials to it, so it gives that sort of antique finish, and it'll only patina further with me. Other things that are really fascinating about this horn, it is a one-piece bell construction similar to the Trevani tubas that Amati also makes. Much like those brass instruments, you're getting a ton of resonance all the way through the bottom of the horn, and you're also getting like the vibration in the fingers the same way I would associate it with like my old Kahn or my very old Selmer that I used to play. One of my big things with modern horns that I don't get a lot of is that they don't vibrate. I don't get a tactile sensation as I'm playing. Like, I'm not feeling the resonance points as much as I wish I could. And it was the reason I played vintage horns for so long, is that they gave me so much more sort of body feedback. This custom horn is the first modern horn I've played that actually gives me that feedback. And after being at Virtuosity and being in the community for so long, I've played thousands of saxophones, tens of thousands of saxophones probably at this point. This one really stacks up to many of the vintage instruments that I've played in the past. It reminds me a lot more of my Kahn than my vintage Selmer in terms of how it feels in my hand. It's a little bigger, it feels a little more robust. The tone quality and the flexibility reminds me infinitely more of a Selmer versus a Kahn. On top of the one-piece bell construction, which is really cool, and you're seeing all these beautiful key touches, Kohlert took the time to invest in the R&D to fix things on the saxophone we all wish had been fixed. Little things like adjustment screws on the back of the left-hand pinking table so that can stay even. It's taken 250 years, and magically someone figured out hey, that's probably a pretty good idea. There's a tremendous amount of adjustment screws similar to any modern horn. As you're looking with here, it's modern construction, it's modern key work. I've got super cool key touches, which you can also customize. The front F sharp, whatever you want to call it, it's really ergonomic to the B key. Another thing that's really fascinating is in the octave mechanism here, it uses a roller instead of a hinge, so it's incredibly smooth, but it's also going to stay in regulation a lot easier than say a plastic piece or a hinge rod similar to vintage horns, or even balanced action that Selmer has. What I also love about it is that it's just the most unique modern horn I've played. I have found with other modern horns, I don't really need to learn them. They sort of work right away. There's not much of a bonding experience. You can hand me, picture any of the bigger brands and hand it to me, I could probably figure out 5-6 minutes. Much like a vintage horn, this requires time. It took me about a week to really sit down and play my long tones and get around on it. Took it to a gig too early, pretty standard, I got a new saxophone, I'm gonna play it. But it's been so much more rewarding because the things that you would have to figure out on a vintage horn, like intonation or resonance spots, those are all really clear because it's a modern instrument. But in terms of tone quality and timbral flexibility, things that you get to learn over a lifetime with a horn, this has that same sort of gradient where you can shift from incredibly bright to dark and fluffy. These horns also come with 3 necks, which I think is really smart as a company because it's going to keep everything in-house. So I'm using just the sort of quote-unquote standard lacquered brass that matches my horn. There's also a copper neck and a nickel-plated silver. So I can shift depending on how I'm feeling or if I'm into a certain thing. I was using the copper one for a while, and now I'm going to play later in this video and show you, like, I like the brass. It's sort of the most timbrally neutral, but I like the response especially. I'm really proud and honored to be an ambassador for Kohlert. Kirill is an incredibly brilliant man, and it's cool to support another person like in similar age and like having a long view of how to make instruments the old-fashioned way for like a whole new generation of players. I've never really had a horn deal before. This is a very new experience for me, and he's been really gracious with guiding me through it as well. So with that, I'm going to play a little bit so you can hear how this horn sounds, and you can reach out via Instagram or my website if you have questions about these saxophones. Thank you so much.